You're beginning in Module 5, probably your fourth or fifth journal now, on applying research, where you're reading articles or you're pulling information from our textbook and applying it to a concept. I always provide you with a pretty strict framework to follow because I'm wanting you to really work through a process, and the process of developing an opinion and position on different topics, and especially some hot topics, is really important. It's important so that you can figure out what you think and your interpretation of information based on your perspective of the world in a way that is logical and uses critical thinking and uses facts, because we can all read the same thing and have lots of different perspectives. And I think that's important. There's not a right answer often, but there's always facts, and you can't change the facts. And so it's really helping us to create sound and critically thinking ethical decisions and opinions based on facts. So in Module 5, we're doing that with technology. The other thing about our class is we're very age range specific at times with assignments. And so like with your observations, you did observations of infants. That's kids 0 to about 18 months of age. You did it on toddlers, 18 months to 35 months. And then you'll do it for preschoolers, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, and you'll also do it for middle childhood. So preschool's like early childhood, goes into kindergarten, and then you'll do it through middle childhood. So we're very much looking at specific age ranges. With technology, you're talking about preschoolers. We're not talking about third graders. We're not talking about middle schoolers or high schoolers or infants and toddlers, preschoolers. So the assignment, the individual differences, technology, and quality experiences, asks you first to summarize 5 ways we know that children in early childhood learn. So 3 to 6 years old, how do they learn? And this is based on facts that we know from class, from what we've read and in our textbook. Then specifically, individual differences in mental health development, because we're not just talking about cognitive development. We're talking about the whole spectrum of cognitive, communication, social, emotional, physical development. How is all that impacted? What do we know about mental differences, or I'm sorry, developmental differences in how we develop mentally in mentally healthy ways? And then looking at technology. Now, we are in a particularly interesting period. That might be an understatement, right? 2020 has really been a bizarre year. And we have had preschoolers and kindergartners in classrooms in January that got pulled and were doing Zoom lessons and classes in April and May. And through the summer, childcare programs have not closed, and some of them are requiring masks on children, and some of them you've quit switching teachers around so much, and they've reduced that. But a lot of kids we know are spending a lot more time in front of screens as parents are trying to manage working from home and juggling all of those differences. I'm just as guilty. In fact, today I said to my kids, it's a vacation afternoon. I don't care how much screen time you have. And that is not a typical thing said in this house. But we've all seen a difference, a change in behaviors, some forced, some not. And so I'm actually going to share 3 different websites with you in the announcement and in this video regarding screen time specific to this pandemic period that we find ourselves in. One is from UNICEF, very well known, great international research showing how technology has increased, why it might be doing so, and how that might be having an impact on our children. The other one being from a state website, Children's Minnesota. They have a really phenomenal set of resources on the Children's Minnesota webpage. But I'm going to specifically share to you a blog about how families can navigate the whole distance learning and technology during this period. And I think this offers us a lot of food for thought as we're moving into fall, where school school as we knew it a year ago will probably not be this fall, and it really shouldn't be. You know, we are going to have to change our behavior somehow to try and curve what's happening health-wise. And then another one, and this one is more from a trendier news site, but someone who's offering a lot of validity in their information by who they are interviewing and the sites they are sourcing their information from themselves. And so that's why I chose to use it. And it's about how to talk to your kids about screen time and COVID-19. So as you're doing your assignment this semester, you can have a special twist to it. You could address what you thought about technology and how it was used, and the reality of that now, today, might be somewhat different. It may be forced upon us a bit. You know, sometimes we make decisions with technology, not just with what we believe developmentally, but there's external factors that we can't control. My family's a good example of that with my 13-year-old. We moved from small town, Iola, Kansas, to Topeka, Kansas, between the semesters last year. We had no intention of our child having a cell phone before high school. Probably 15 was, we thought, that's when we'll jump into it. We're not jumping into it before then. With this move, though, she's 13, as I said, and she was a 7th grader. She's an old 13-year-old, an October baby. We said, all right, we want you to be able to maintain relationships with your friends. And we also knew she would be walking or riding her bike some from school on her own. And we felt a little safer with her having a phone on her to do so. And so we gave in. And I use the words gave in because that's really what we did. So it's a good example of how there were legitimate external factors impacting our philosophical decisions as well. So it's kind of much older child, but same idea. Preschoolers nowadays, you know, if I had preschool age children, I do not believe that children need to be learning from an iPad or a computer game. I feel like there's a lot better options out there for experiences. However, if my child is at home all day and I know that I'm trying to work, I would start thinking about the other quality experiences that they could have on that device for some time. And there's some really good points that the UNICEF page brings up about technology being a way to escape, much like reading a book or watching a movie. It's kind of a mental escape that we all, in a healthy way, need, and especially at times where we're already feeling very restricted. So enjoy this assignment. Think about how you can use it to kind of manage some of this information and decisions that we're all standing up against.